Hey, great game out there.
The Lavender striker, Lily, grinned at the Lions defender, Mark, her voice dripping with mock sympathy. The scoreboard glared behind them. Lavender's 22, Lions 0.
Yeah, you guys were phenomenal. We didn't stand a chance.
Mark, sweat-drenched and his shoulders slumping with defeat, could only manage a weak smile.
You played hard, though. We respect that. Never gave up, huh?
Giving up crossed my mind about a dozen times out there.
To be honest, Mark, we were taking it easy on you guys.
Lily's smile faded slightly, her tone turning serious. She had always been known for her competitive spirit, but this time, there was a hint of something more in her eyes.
Taking it easy? What do you mean by that? You call that taking it easy? We were giving it our all out there.
Mark's eyebrows shot up, a mixture of disbelief and curiosity on his face. He couldn't fathom what he was hearing. He gestured towards the scoreboard, which seemed to mock him with its lopsided score. The numbers were glaring, a testament to their defeat.
We were barely trying. Honestly, it felt more like a practice session for us. I'd say we were playing at about 5% of our capacity, maybe even less.
Mark stared at her, his mouth slightly agape. Was she serious? He had never felt so outmatched in his life. This tiny slip of a girl who could outrun a cheetah with a soccer ball glued to her foot was claiming they weren't even trying? It was hard to believe. Mark thought back to the game, replaying moments in his mind. Every pass, every shot, every sprint. They had been relentless. He remembered the determination in their eyes, the precision of their movements. It was as if they were in a different league altogether. Shaking his head, Mark couldn't help but feel a mix of frustration and admiration. How could they be so good? He glanced at his teammates, who were equally stunned. They had given everything they had, and it still wasn't enough. Looking back at the opposing team, Mark realized just how wide the gap was. They were on a different level, but this revelation only fueled his determination. If they could play at 5% and dominate, what could they achieve if they pushed themselves harder? Mark vowed to train harder, to push his limits. He wanted to close that gap, to compete at their level. With a newfound resolve, he knew that this was just the beginning. The 5% truth bomb had ignited a fire within him. As he walked off the field, Mark felt a sense of purpose. The journey ahead would be tough, but he was ready for the challenge. He looked back at the field one last time, a silent promise to himself. Next time, things would be different.
You're kidding, right? 5%? Come on, Lily. That's barely even trying. I mean, we were out there giving it our all, and you guys were just holding back?
Mark finally sputtered, breaking into a laugh. It was a mix of disbelief and amusement. He couldn't wrap his head around the fact that the opposing team had been so considerate.
I'm serious, Mark. We knew from the start it would be a massacre if we went all out. We had to make a choice. We talked about it as a team. We didn't want to humiliate you guys any more than necessary. It's not just about winning, it's about respect and sportsmanship. We didn't want to crush your spirits. We wanted to play a good game, but not at the expense of your dignity.
Lily shook her head, her expression earnest. Her voice softened as she continued to explain. It was clear that this decision had not been taken lightly. Mark stopped laughing, a wave of realization washing over him. They had shown mercy. Mercy! On a soccer field of all places. It was almost unheard of in such a competitive sport. On a soccer field where every player is usually out for blood, they had chosen to show compassion. It was a humbling experience.
Wow. I never thought I'd see the day when a team would actually hold back for the sake of their opponents.
He breathed, shaking his head in disbelief. The concept was so foreign to him. In all his years of playing, he had never encountered such a gesture. He had to admit a small part of him was relieved. 50-0? 100-0? The thought was terrifying. The humiliation would have been unbearable.
Well, thanks for going easy on us. I guess it shows that there's more to this game than just winning. I think my ego would have actually exploded if you hadn't. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I appreciate the sportsmanship. It makes me see the game in a whole new light. As the teams shook hands, there was a newfound respect between them. The game had ended, but the lesson of mercy and sportsmanship would stay with them forever. They walked off the field, not just as competitors, but as individuals who had learned the true essence of the sport. It wasn't just about the score. It was about the spirit in which the game was played. And as the sun set over the soccer field, it was clear that this was a game they would all remember. Not for the goals scored, but for the mercy shown.
No worries, Mark. We all have off days. It's all in good fun. Remember, it's just a game. Besides, it gave us a chance to try out some new strategies. We learned a lot from this match.
Lily's smile returned, this time genuine. Mark's ears perked up, curiosity piqued. Strategies? What strategies could they possibly need against a team they were obliterating? Mark wondered.
Like what? What new strategies did you try?
Well, for starters, we completely dominated your midfield. We focused on quick, short passes to keep possession. Our passing game? You couldn't even get a foot on the ball. We practiced intercepting and counter-attacking.
Mark winced. She wasn't wrong. Their midfield had been a disaster. Their midfield had been overrun, like ants swarming a dropped ice cream cone. Their passing game? Non-existent. They couldn't string together more than 2 passes. The coach had emphasized the importance of controlling the midfield, but it seemed the message hadn't sunk in. They needed to go back to basics, work on their passing drills, and improve their communication on the field. The team huddled together, determined to learn from their mistakes. They knew they had to adapt and grow. With renewed focus, they practiced tirelessly, aiming to turn their weaknesses into strengths. And slowly but surely, their hard work paid off. They began to see improvements and their confidence grew. They walked off the field with their heads held high, ready to face the next challenge with a new sense of purpose.
We focused on quick, short passes, keeping possession, drawing you out, creating space.
Mark remembered chasing shadows, the ball zipping around him like a hyperactive hummingbird. They had been completely outclassed.
And our off-ball movement, always creating passing options, never static, always a step ahead.
He knew it. They had been running in circles, chasing ghosts, while the Lavenders seemed to glide effortlessly across the field.
Your defense, well, you guys tried your best. But honestly, it was like trying to break through a brick wall. Our backline was impenetrable. Solid communication, perfect positioning, anticipating your every move. And then there were the surprise long shots. We knew you wouldn't expect those. It was a combination of everything, really. Skill, strategy, teamwork, and maybe just a touch of brilliance.
Lily, do you think maybe women's soccer is better?
Mark, it's not even a question. The level of skill, the tactical awareness, the sheer athleticism, women's soccer is in a league of its own. Don't get me wrong, men's soccer is good, but women, we bring a whole different level of intensity, passion, and let's be honest, finesse to the game. So, any chance you guys want a rematch next week? We might even let you score a goal this time.
Chuckles, I'll pass. I think my ego needs a little more time to recover.